Hey YouTube, Ed here with Jack of all trades and welcome to another video. So today we're going to talk about red dot sights and why I am never going to use them again. So let's stop talking and let's have that discussion. And welcome back. So before we get into the discussion today, as per the usual, I got to ask you to go down and hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure you ring that notification bell so you get notified of upcoming videos. And hit me with any comments if you want me to review something or test something or try something out or do something on this channel that you've always wondered about. Let me know in the comments and I will do my darndest to try and get it done. All right, that enough being said. So what are we talking about today? Today we're talking about red dot sights and why I'm never going to use them again. And I have to qualify that statement, and I will in a little bit. But why did I come to the determination that I am not going to use red dot sights anymore? So you'll remember a few videos ago, I threw a red dot sight on my Taurus TX22. I've never had a red dot sight prior to that. I never tried one out. A few of my buddies have tried one out. They seemed like they were kind of interesting. So I thought, you know what the heck? I'm going to give it a whirl. So I took the iron sights off my Taurus TX22. I added a mounting plate and I added a red dot sight to it to try it out. It does work. Don't get me wrong. It's much easier to shoot the firearm with a red dot sight. It's much more easy to be accurate with the red dot sight. Target acquisition is very, very quick. I liked everything about the sight, save one thing. And that I'm going to tell you what that is here in a second. And how did I come to that determination? Last weekend, I took my daughter and 3 of her friends to my cabin for an ATV riding trip. We do it every year. This is the 5th year we've done it. It's the same 3 friends and my daughter. We try to go about the same time of year, and we do lots of fun stuff up at my cabin. We ride ATVs. We have a picnic out in the woods, which they think is just absolutely fun. We take a picture next to the same big pine tree every year. We take them out to the same spot and we do a lineup picture with them every year. So we kind of have a record of the events that have happened over the course of the years. We have campfires, we roast marshmallows, they play games. We just have a really good time. And part of that weekend is going to the range to shoot. A lot of these girls don't get ample opportunity to go to the range and just shoot rifles and shoot guns and have a good time in a nice, safe environment and conditions. Part of that range day, or part of that range portion of the weekend, I should say, is shooting my Taurus TX22 or shooting a handgun in general. They really like shooting the TX22 for good reason. It's very low recoil, it's very low report, and they really enjoy shooting it. The problem is when I pulled the firearm out of the bag to shoot it, the battery was dead. Now, before you beat me up in the comments, yes, I did check the battery prior to leaving the house. That is the first thing I did. I turned on the sight. The sight was nice and bright. It was nice and clear. I turned the sight off. I put it in my range bag to take it with on the trip. The next day, when we went to the range to shoot, the battery was dead. Dead as a doornail. No light whatsoever. It was completely useless, and therefore it rendered the firearm useless. Now, in the grand scheme of things, this isn't a barn burner. This isn't a life or death situation. It was a range day. We just didn't get to shoot the firearm, which was a little bit disappointing. But had this been my primary carry weapon, I would have been in a pickle if I'd have needed it. So therefore, I'm never going to put a red dot sight on my firearm when it is the primary sighting system ever again. Now, there are new versions of the Taurus TX22, which I believe have got cutouts on them, and you can mount a red dot sight in addition to iron sights. You can put the raised up sights on them, and you can co-witness the sight, the red dot, and your iron sights. And that's not a bad option. If I had one of those firearms, I would maybe consider doing that. But in this particular instance, and in my model of firearm, The only way you can mount this red dot sight is to remove the rear sight, put in a mounting plate, mount the red dot sight to that mounting plate. But what happens then is you completely lose the ability to use iron sights because your rear iron sight is no longer in the picture. Now, my dad, who died in 2013 and pretty much taught me everything I've known about hunting, fishing, trapping, surviving in the woods, always said, never ever put your life in the hands of batteries. That is something I failed to do. That was a failure on my part. I ignored the very wise advice of my father in not putting my life in the hands of batteries. And if you ever get into zombie apocalypse or to a point where you are relying on your firearm to save your life, put food on the table, whatever it is, I would always recommend from this point on, you never use a sight that has to have batteries for it to operate, not as your primary sighting system. If you've got backup iron sights and you can use backup iron sights, I don't see much of a problem with that, but I will never use a red dot sight or any battery operated sight for that matter as my primary sighting system. Now, those of you who are my more astute and visual viewers, you will see that my Freedom rifle back here, my Palmetto Freedom rifle, has a red dot sight on it. That will stay because if the battery goes dead, I have backup iron sights on that firearm and I can still use the firearm. The firearm isn't rendered useless because the batteries are dead. I can still use it. This gun, if the batteries are dead, the firearm is useless. It's a point and shoot gun at that point in time, and you are not shooting with any degree of accuracy. You're just general point shooting, and unless you are well practiced in instinctive shooting or in a very close range, that's not a great way to be. So what's going to happen with this? I am going to take this firearm, I am going to remove that red dot sight and the mounting plate, and I am going to put iron sights back on it. And there we go, problem fixed. Iron sights back on the TX22 just like it's supposed to be. Now, like I said, I only did this because I have no other means of sighting with the red dot sight on this firearm. I'm not saying red dot sights are bad, and I know RMR sights are really, really good. The problem is I'm not going to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a sight that is operating on batteries so I can have extended battery life to only inadvertently someday need that firearm and the sight battery is dead. And especially considering I don't have backups on this firearm. If the red dot sight is your only means of sighting the firearm, I'll never be a proponent of having just that sighting system on your firearm. At the end of the day, there really is no substitute for just learning how to shoot your firearm with the basic iron sights, because you know these are never going to fail on you. I will never again put myself in a situation where the red dot sight is my primary or only sighting system without backups. So if you're using a firearm for personal defense or survival or anything of that effect, I would highly recommend that you do not put your life, put your livelihood, or put your food source on the line using batteries. That's just not something I'm going to do anymore. Learn how to shoot your firearm using the iron sights or using an optic system that doesn't require batteries. Yes, you might not have a really convenient little red dot that you can just put on the target and squeeze the trigger. You might not get your rangefinder. You're going to have to rely on your skills as a human being, as a person, to implement your own survival without the aid of gizmos, gadgets, and electronics and technology. So there we go. I'll get off my soapbox now. That is the content of today's video. That is why I will never ever rely on a red dot sight again. So I hope this video maybe put some thoughts in your head, put some ideas in your head, and maybe put a little bit of different concepts in your head. If you've got other opinions, please hit me in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your opinions. Maybe I screwed something up. I'm certainly not the know-all, do-all out here. As I've said many, many times in my videos before, I'm just some dumb schmuck from Fargo, North Dakota, who's out here on YouTube putting out videos. These are my opinions. And if you've got a different opinion and you can back it up, please let me know in the comments. With that, this is Ed from Jack of All Trades. As always, thank you to my longtime subscribers. Thank you to everybody who watches these videos. Thank you to everybody who stops by, and we will see you on the next video.